Hey everyone, and welcome back. In this first part of the video, we're going to start off in the Weeping Peninsula. This is the area that we met Irina and took the quest to meet up with her father at Fort Morn. Something came across to me in the second journey that I didn't realize in the first time I played this, but this area that we're in right now, I'm pretty sure is the caravan that Irina was traveling with on her way out of Castle Morn to a safer location, and it was attacked by the servants here. And you are able to essentially fend off and fight the servants that attacked her caravan and left it in this terrible state. You can even see the corpses of the knights that were probably guarding her as on her way out as you make your way through this little area. And I don't know why it didn't dawn on me the first time I played this. I'm sure it was probably obvious to some other people, but my second playthrough of this, it caught my eye and just kind of really shows how fleshed out the stories were in this entire game, even minor stories such as Irina's. So moving on, we're going to a safer location here in the Weeping Peninsula, and this is going to be where you first encounter one of the Knights Cavalry. These are some pretty cool bosses. There's a mechanic behind them that you can only see and fight these guys at night, which hence the name Knights Cavalry. These guys are a personal favorite of mine. I think they look so
This
cool.
way, tarnished.
Their armor
May
is
I have a
fantastic.
word?
So now we are going to meet Ronnie, who is one of the most important characters in the
A
game.
pleasure to meet thee, tarnished. I am the witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk, I surmise, is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent. As I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee by Torrent's former master. 'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree, the spirits will obey thine command but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest. Forgive mine intrusion, tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the tarnished tire of obeisance to the two fingers?
And I'm sure you noticed I referenced her as Ronnie, but in this clip she tells us her name is Renna. So in the beginning she's not being 100% truthful with us, and I think that's because she's trying to make sure that she can trust us, and we'll cross paths with her down the road in the future. Moving on, we are going to be exploring this little swamp area. And if you notice here in front of me, there is a little swamp island with somebody burning at the stake. So let's go investigate this and see what's going on here. Keep your eyes on the distance, out in the horizon. first of many dragons that we will encounter throughout this game. So moving on, we are going to venture into Stormvale Castle. This is the home of Godric the Grafted, who is a demigod and son of Godfrey. And in order to get through this main gate, we're going to have to go through a little side entrance and speak to another NPC who will unlock it for us.
You there? Come over here, would you? You're tarnished, aren't you? I would advise against taking the main gate into the castle. It's tightly guarded by hardened old hands. Oh, try the opening right here. The guards don't know about it. You'll breach the castle undetected. Fair enough. You certainly don't have to trust me. Well, if you must go through the gates, I'll signal them to open. But of course, I'd advise against it. Use that opening to breach the castle. The guards haven't a Q slip right inside undetected. Of course, I understand. When you approach the gates, I'll signal them to open. It's only your neck on the line after all.
So the reason why I chose to go through the main gate is because it's actually a quicker path to get to Godfrey. That is truly the only reason. It is a much safer path if you want to go through the side, but it just takes a little bit longer. We will be seeing that NPC again later on after we fight Godric. And right now we're just making our way to one of the safe locations. So we're gonna bypass this lion real fast, get over to this Lost Grace. That way, in case of anything funky happens, we don't have to make this run all the way again. And this is also a spot that we're going to be returning to after we defeat Godric. So now we're making our way back the area of the way that we just came. We'll stop by and fight this lion. Pretty easy fight, and we'll be seeing a lot more of those guys in the future. Now we're gonna clear out some more guards real fast, and we'll be heading up that path that they were just protecting. Easier said than done because of these fire ballistas. We're gonna move past the flamethrower guy. Big guy on our right here. make our way to another safe location. And then we're going to turn back and head towards this tower that we see in front of us. There is an NPC that we're trying to make our way towards. We're going to avoid all these guys and the explosive barrels. And in here we'll deal with a mini boss real quick. Easily done. We'll pick up the axe. And this is a portrait of Godfrey. He was the first Elden Lord. So continuing on, we are going to continue working our way towards an NPC. But first we're going to have to deal with this knight in this room. This guy is a huge pain in the butt. So we'll start off with the old sneak attack. There we go. And that talisman that you saw me equipped slowly heals me over time. So it's very useful when you know you're going to be running through some difficult areas. This way you can slowly regenerate your health. And once again, we're making our way towards the church. This way we can speak to Roger. Pretty gruesome sight right there. I love how the shard can actually pierce through the first guy to hit the guy behind him. That is extremely useful. And we have finally made it to the church, so we can speak to Spellblade Roger and find out what he is doing here in Stormvale.
Ah, nice to meet you. The pleasure's mine. Roger is the name. A sorcerer, as you might have guessed. I'm looking for a little something here in the castle. When I'm not hot-footing it from the troops, that is. But enough about me. What are you doing here in Stormvale Castle? This place is bristling with tarnished hunters, you know. They sacrifice our kind for grafting. Not exactly a place I'd stroll into without a purpose in mind. I see. Here to challenge Godric and lay your hands upon a great rune, are you? You can see it then, I take it. The guidance of grace. Well, enjoy it while you can. I'm tarnished, like you. But unlike you, I've seen neither hide nor hair of this guidance for the longest time. Still, I won't forget how it felt when I first came here, to the lands between. I'm privy to a few magical battle arts. Would you care to learn one? As a fellow tarnished, once guided by grace, I'd love to help you out, if it please.
So we need to make some purchases in order to continue his dialogue. So we'll go ahead and buy this stuff real quick.
The battle art you've learned is of the Glintstone family. They were conceived at the Great Academy of Rea Lucaria, to the north of this castle. In the past, they obeyed laws which contravened the Golden Order, or so I'm told. Fascinating, isn't it? That the Golden Order was pliable enough to absorb practices that contradicted itself in the past. With the Order broken, twisted, and in need of repair, such adaptability is more important now than ever.
Alright, and towards the end of this video, we will venture below Stormville Castle to figure out exactly what Roger was searching for, and ultimately what happens to him. But first, we're going to continue on towards our main objective, which is finding Godric the Grafted and dealing with him. There's another NPC that we're going to come across here shortly. He's not exactly a main character, but another thing that I noticed in this second playthrough, her name is actually more important than I first realized, and I'll explain more about that here in a minute. Go ahead and collect this save point, that way we can return back to here and enter the boss fight much easier. We're going to go ahead and sneak past this troll and a couple guards, because of the NPC we're looking for is straight ahead. But I need to be careful because I wasn't positive that this troll could actually hurt her.
You were a fine warrior. My mistake was your choice of master.
You'll see me pause here for a minute before interacting with her, just to make sure.
Well, who do we have here? Tarnished, are you? Clearly not one of Godric's lot. I am Nephew, tarnished and warrior, like you. I'm here by decree of my father. How utterly repellent this is. This grafting of Godric's ill befits a lord. He's tainted the very winds. If you intend to challenge Godric, I ask you call upon me. The winds run foul with his deeds. I'm certain father would permit me aid the fight. Apologies, but I've idled long enough. As fellow tarnished, we must each follow our own guidance, down whatever road takes us to the throne of Elden Lord.
So the portrait that we saw earlier of Godfrey also went by the name of Horalu, and I'm pretty sure Nefeli is either his daughter or granddaughter, and that was something that came across my mind on the second playthrough. So we're gonna go ahead and summon her now, so she can assist us in the fight against Godric.
mighty dragon. Thou the true born heir. Lend me thy strength, O kindred. Deliver me unto greater heights. Well. Alone tarnished. Playing as a lord. I command thee, kneel! I am the lord of all that is golden. Truest of dragons. Lend me thy strength. Return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
And that was Godric the Grafted, and our first demigod down. As you can see, we got a great rune as our reward, and we'll be unlocking that here shortly. But first, we're going to speak to the NPC that we found at the very entrance.
What a pathetic excuse for a lord you were. Craven to the bone. Pushing me about like that. And after all that grafting, where did that get you? Look down on me, would ya? Godric, you filthy slug. Feel it. Feel it. Feel my bloody wrath. Oh. Hello there. This weasel was Godric was always looking down on me. He got what he bloody deserved thanks to you. I tell you though, what goes around comes around. He had an ugly heart, an uglier countenance, and met the ugliest of ends, eh?
You can tell he took a lot of joy in stepping on Godric's dead head there. So, after every time you beat one of the demigods, you will get one of these great runes, and you have to venture to the area's divine tower in order to activate it. So you can see the tower off in the distance behind this giant golem, and that's where we are heading towards right now. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this part, because truly it's just me trying to test something out. I'm going to throw these crystallized darts at these giants to see if they will essentially start attacking each other. But it didn't seem to work, so I'm assuming I used the wrong darts. So in that case, we're just going to kind of speed past them, because there's a portal behind this archer that we need to get to. And maybe I just didn't use enough of them, I'm not quite sure, but regardless, it wasn't that important. So we'll go ahead and take the portal over to the tower. And this is the Stormhill Divine Tower. And you can only enter these after you've beaten the boss of the area. And we will go ahead, make our way towards the top. This way we can activate the Great Rune, which will essentially be a nice buff that increases all of our stats. Very useful. But first we have to take the long elevator ride up. And we'll go ahead and interact with another checkpoint, just in case if we ever need to come back here. And here's the top of the tower. And as you can see, there's a giant 2 fingers. Those 2 fingers are essentially like a spiritual guide, and every demigod has its own set of 2 fingers that help guide it. So finally, we are back here at Stormville Castle, and we are going to work our way below Stormville Castle to figure out what exactly Rogier was up to. First, we're going to equip our Great Rune that we just unlocked at the Divine Tower. And then we'll start our journey down below. Crazy enough, in order to do that, we need to go up. But if you remember in our dialogue with Rogier, he said he was looking for something. And we will be able to find out what it is that he was looking for down below. And we will also figure out what happened to him while he was down there. There will be a little blood spot that we interact with, and it'll show kind of like a hologram of what transpired when Rogier ventured down below. But before that, we need to do a little platforming here. These jumps are never easy, and it's especially more difficult at night when you can see a little bit less. Barely made it there, thank God. And as you can see, Stormveil Castle is massive. So much larger than Castle Morn that we saw in the previous video. There's a lot of little hidden areas all throughout this castle. The first time I played through here, I spent probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours just working my way through the castle. So this was a much quicker route that highlights the important parts and skips a lot of the nonsense that you have to deal with. We'll go ahead and sneak past these guys. Unfortunately, that didn't work out too well. And I'll interact with this golden beam right here, and as you can see, there's Rogier again. And he's telling us that what we're looking for is close by. So I know I'm on the right track. So we'll continue venturing down. Luckily, Elden Ring does a very good job of giving you shortcuts once you've gotten to certain areas of the game, and that's exactly what this door is. As you can see, that we're back at that last checkpoint that we had. So we're continuing on, and we're getting close to the bottom of Stormveil. We're going to have to do a little bit more platforming here. And if you remember, Rogier said he was trying to become a scholar of sorts. So he wanted to find out what started the whole shattering, and the start of the shattering, which was the war, was the death of the first demigod. And down here we are going to find the spot where Godwyn was murdered. And when Godwyn was murdered, it created a death root that has now started consuming the land that we are in. Here in a few minutes, after we deal with a couple of these big rats and unexpected mini-boss, I will play Rogier's dialogue as you watch and see me explore the dungeon area, and he'll give us a little bit of background as to what he found. And that will conclude this video. Not sure how I missed that overhand swing, but no big deal. Luckily the scarab didn't run away. We'll go ahead and deal with this mini boss, and then we will find what Rogier was looking for, and I will show you through the blood spot what happened to Rogier. absolutely hate those tree spirits. So now that we've killed him, we will go ahead and find out what exactly it was Roger was looking for. And once again, I will show you what happened to him while he was down here, which has left him in a paralyzed state. And that will conclude this video. So thank you for watching,
Always good to see you safe.
and I'll see you in the next one.
So, what do you need? The misshapen corpse under Stormvale. That is a sacred relic of the Black Knives plot, as that famed night of assassination is known. It happened during the golden age of the Erd Tree, long before the shattering of the Elden Ring. Someone stole a fragment of the Rune of Death from Malekith, the Black Blade, and on a bitter night, murdered Godwyn the Golden. That was the first recorded death of a demigod in all history, and it became the catalyst. Soon, the Elden Ring was smashed, and thus sprang forth the war known as the Shattering. I once wished to become a scholar, you see. I've spent many an hour scouring the archives for knowledge of that fateful plot. The world has grown crooked, and if you intend to put it to rights, you'd better understand what happened to make it this way. And that thing is to blame for the shape I'm in now. I urge the utmost caution. Don't disturb the corpse more than necessary.